Now, having made a mistake with the CX-7, which incidentally is now only sold for the Chinese market, Mazda have brought out the CX-5. Now, unusually, that stands for crossover sports utility vehicle, and a compact one at that. Now, last May I drove this car, the 2.2 diesel 175 brake horsepower, and I compared it against the new Subaru 2-litre diesel XV. I drove them both on the hill circuit at Millbrook's Proving Ground. Now, the Mazda felt a lot more light and a lot more responsive, despite it having slightly more weight than the XV. Now, in the cabin, I've got my thermos flask here. I can put it in the middle there, of course. I've got a door pocket here, which holds that, and very little else, of course, on the passenger side as well. I've got a large area here to put my CDs, Stevie Wonder no less, and inside I've got a 12 volts power supply with a USB and iPod jack, although you can't actually access that from the back. The materials in the CX-5 are of a high quality. We've got leather seats, for example. At the top we've got a give here, akin to what was in the 508 that we tested quite recently. Some of the fitment could be improved where the plastics meet on this corner. It's not quite flush. One of the clips is snapped off that secures the mat to the floor as well. Also, I think Mazda could have a few more cubby holes. There is quite a large space beneath. So we're at the motorview.co.uk test track, which is basically the local sports centre car park. We're going to test the smart city brake support system that is standard on the Mazda CX-5. Now, in place of a real car, we've actually put a stack of cardboard boxes that you may see in front of you, and we'll see if a laser detects it and if it stops before we make contacts. Now, this system operates between 2 and 18 miles per hour. So here we go. Wish me luck. 10 miles per hour. Foot off the pedals. There was braking there. You can see on the dashboard it has been activated, but we did make contacts. Now, of course, cardboard boxes are not vehicles, so maybe we'll try it again with a wider area. Now, this system has been tested by the Association of British Insurers, and they've actually reduced the insurance by 2 groupings for every model on this CX-5. So it is cheaper to insure than the equivalent Subaru XV. So here we go. Now remember, it operates between 2 and 18 miles per hour. It's 10 feet up the pedals. Now there, it didn't recognise it at all. So, in conclusion, don't assume that the brake support system will stop at every obstacle. Vehicles only, and possibly a pile of cardboard boxes. Now, that pile wasn't high enough for the laser to detect. Don't try this at home, by the way. A right riveting rig this is. But I'm in the back here, the CX-5. Clearly 3 adults can sit here, plenty of headroom for my 6-foot frame, and interestingly, the driver's seat doesn't retract as far back as the passenger seat, therefore you've got no problem with knee room here. Flask here, inserts, no problem. Bit of a small pocket like in the front here, and of course the Mazda manual can slot here. So, well impressed with the space in the back of the CX-5. Just as much space as in the CX-7, which is a bigger car. Now incredibly, the CX-5 has just as much space inside as the outgoing CX-7, and you can see those two suitcases easily hidden there in the cargo area. So my time with the Mazda is coming to an end shortly. This is what I found out. Overall, miles per gallon figures are 43, which is respectable, bearing in mind the body size of this car and that it is a 2.2 diesel. The torque boost that you get is spread over such a wide range. That must be down to the two-stage turbocharger. And this car will cost you £115 of tax per year. That's less than my 1.2 Suzuki Splash. The Mazda engineers have really done a good job with the calibration of the suspension setup for UK roads, in that you've got a good compromise between what you need for a sporty drive and also the comforts. There's no jar, and when I drove the XV, that certainly had a bit more of a harsher suspension. I think the areas where Mazda could improve are some of the interior plastics. Could be a bit more hardy. Some of the fit. Storage areas could be a bit bigger as well, but these are minor relative to the car as a whole, because it covers a lot of the bases, and it would be an ideal towing car, certainly with this all-wheel drive model. Now, if you're thinking of going for the safety pack, one of those features is the high beam control, which automatically alters and turns off the high beam for approaching cars. But of course, the sensor, quite a few sensors here behind the rear view mirror, that also picks up artificial light, so it doesn't work. It will only work when you've got a dark country lane with no artificial light. So a very good score from Mazda. And it really gives the whole Mazda range a bit more environmental credibility now that the RX-8 is being deleted, and also the CX-7.